Hello and welcome to the first of 4 programmes featuring Club 100's race day coverage from round 6 of our Sprint Championships. In the August heat for some midsummer madness as Club 100 returns to sprint action on its second visit of the season to Buckmore Park. In lightweight class, Harry Neal has been there or thereabouts all season and his pace and consistency has always kept him towards the top of the table. Sean Brierley has been getting gradually stronger and second places at the last round at Clay Pigeon has pushed him into second place in the championship. Tom King will be looking for another double win here at Buckmore Park after his dominant display at round 1. Although while it's a bit early to talk of dropping scores, truth is Alexander Reddy would lead the championship if we had. Dan Healy is another who will emerge close to the top 3, depending on how it goes from here, while it appears the wobbling Adam White, who has once again failed to qualify directly to the Pre-A final, looks to be on the wane in terms of the championship after leading it so convincingly early on. On to the Pre-A final, the top 20 qualifiers from time qualifying. Chris Powell is in pole position, his best of the season, ahead of Luke Hornsby. Championship rivals Daniel Healy and Tom King on row 2. Sean Brierley another one on row 3 with Graham Coombs making a one-off return to Club 100 action. Greg Aaron fourth in the championship on row 4 with Daniel Becker. Tom Powell and championship leader Harry Neal on row 5. Star of the show from Clay Pigeon, Alexander Reddy starts on grid 11. Rolling into the final staging, looking at the red light ahead of us. Over the start-finish line, green light on and we're racing, and Powell's got the whole shot. The task for Hornsby here is to hang on round the outside. Where's he going to come out of turn 1 with? It's behind Healy, behind Brierley. Tom King coming up the inside as well, and Luke Hornsby sliding down the outside there in cart number 3. Through hairpin 2, will they all make it? Yes they will. Now filter in through the S's, giving each other room there. Greg Aaron, oh, somebody ran wide there. Coming back on, not quite sure who that is. Might be Alexander Reddy. I think it was. Well, he keeps it out the tyres, that's crucial. You get no points for finishing there. Adrian Richardson up the inside, can he get it done? He can't. So we come round to finish lap 1, and it's Powell from Healy, from Sean Brierley, gap then to Tom King. Brierley looking for a way by, can't get it done in turn 1. Healy covering to the inside of hairpin 1. I don't think he's looking for a pass, but he has got himself boxed in behind Christopher Powell, and Sean Brierley rubs his way through to second place and wants to set off after the race leader. Daniel Becker here ahead of Tom Powell. Powell had to lift there, and Harrison Darville takes his chance when it presents itself. Luke Hornsby's in 5th place, so the front row starter has recovered a little bit of ground, sorted himself out, got his head down, and is now trying to stay clear of Graham Coombs, Greg Aaron, Harry Neely, Daniel Becker, Harrison Darville and Tom Powell as they streak over start finish, and Darville's inside of Becker. Can he get it done? Oh, Healy looking for second place. He can't get it done in hairpin 1. And you better watch out. I think Tom King is closing in. Yes, once again Healy's looking strong up to hairpin 1 but not putting the move in. He's managed to keep the spot though ahead of Tom King off the corner, and he's looking over his shoulder at Luke Hornsby. Adrian Richardson side by side, trying to get through a gap that wasn't really there on Frankie Hedges. Down then at Paddock, and he looked to get a run out of the corner to get Hedges over into Garda. Oh, that's fairly robust. He's through, and his next target is Daniel Becker, although I think Richardson's going to wave him back through. Many wouldn't, but he has for fear of a penalty. Keep an eye on the fastest lap times. They will set the grid for the main A final. Adrian Richardson holding off cart 63, which is Jack Richards. He's out of the Pre-B final, so he has made progress already up to 16th. Sweeping downhill in the Syme sweep. No lifting there, then into Pullman's, then set up on the brakes for Paddock. Try and drop into that gutter between the curb and the track, and Darville's got a run here. Straight through, got a long way in though on Harry Neal, who's coming straight back at him. The squeeze was on there into the tyres. I've managed to talk over the swearing. Well, most of it. So through Cafe Curb, Adrian Richardson on the bumper of Frankie Hedges, who covers into turn 1. Now will he be able to hold the line? He's run wide and Richardson is through. Daniel Becker will box in Frankie Hedges. So Christopher Powell looking over his shoulder. That's always a worrying sign. Sean Briley is closing in. Graham Coombs further back is looking for a way past Luke Hornsby. Greg Aaron's there as well. So we've got a three-way fight over 5th place and a four-way fight over the lead. Daniel Becker looks to be in trouble here. Richardson up the inside in Agata. He's been strong there. Jack Bolton and Pietro Pagano out of the Pre-B final together again, racing hard in the lower reaches of the top 20. Battle for the top 12 here. Richardson, Hedges, Richards, David Osborne, joined by Daniel Becker. And the leading group are together again now. So it's Christopher Powell under pressure from Sean Briley. Briley in the red. Daniel Healy in the black with the Jensen Button lid. Down into paddock. Where's Tom King? There's Tom in the red at the back. And Briley hits the front into Garda. Goes a long way and he'll be slow off the corner. Momentum with Christopher Powell. There's no way round the outside of Cafe Curve. He's just going to have to wait. So Briley in front and Daniel Healy's going to get a run inside of turn 1. And Tom King comes through as well on the exit. Ooh, a couple of corners from Christopher Powell, but he's not out of this one by any stretch of the imagination. This is only lap 7 of 16. There's plenty of mileage left in this final, and Graham Coombs is not a million miles away in 5th place. Then Hornsby under pressure from Greg Aaron now. Nick Hoyle trying to find a way around Dimitri Zaporozets. Oh, side by side into the S's. And Pietro Pagano goes through on the exit. Harry Neal inside of Greg Aaron. So Harry Neal, the championship leader, moves into 7th place. And we come round to start another lap. Down the inside of Daniel Becker goes Ben Atkinson, picking up spots. That's for 16th place. Back up front once again. Daniel Healy is strong up to the top of the circuit to set himself up to look down the inside of hairpin 1. But he's yet to pull the trigger. Now he's looking inside of hairpin 2. If he's looking for the clean move, he might have to wait a long time. And I don't think Tom King's going to let him. He's moving onto his bumper through Symes Sweep. Then into Pullman's. Use a lot of the curb on the left. Use a little bit of the curb on the right. In paddock. On board with Tom Powell. Looking at the back of Harry Neal. So it looks as though Tom Powell's picked off Greg Aaron. Yes, he has. So Tom Powell up to 8th place. And it looks as though Sean Briley looks to lead out this final and lead a merry dance to the drivers behind. So is that Healy looking, rehearsing a move for later in this final, or just covering off Tom King? That's a defensive move to keep Tom King behind him. Chris Powell coming back into the mix. We're into the second half of this Pre-A final. Full championship points, just the same as the main trophy final here. So these points matter to these drivers. Sean Briley was in 2nd in the championship at the beginning of this race. He'll still be there. Dan Healy, he's had to drop scores. He missed the first round at Buckmore Park, as did Alexander Reddy, who's had a very quiet opening to this final. He's just on the tail of this main group. Harry Neal, the championship leader, looking to get away past Luke Hornsby for 6th place. On board with Pietro Pagano in 20th place, looking to find a way past Nick Hoyle. No way through into turn 1. Back on board with Tom Powell. Harry Neal ahead of us. Harry a little bit slow off the corner. I think he might have lost a little bit of ground on Luke Hornsby. Battle for 18th place, David Hornsby holding off Nick Hoyle. We're looking for action wherever we can find it. On board with Pagano, looking at the back of Hoyle once again, and he's got him in his crosshairs. And Tom Powell has been following Harry Neal for a few laps now. And you could say just the same about Dan Healy on the bumper of Sean Briley, who's getting increasingly defensive to keep the position. Now with Sean Briley trying to push Dan Healy back into Tom King, get them involved and then pull clear, because it looks as though King wants to be by. Chris Powell as well. It's beginning to warm up behind with the arrival of Graham Coombs on the bumper of Christopher Powell. So sweeping downhill It's a leading group of 5. And here comes Graham Coombs. Late, hard and decisive. Gap now developing to Luke Hornsby in 6th place. He's got a few kart lengths on Harry Neal in 7th. Tom Powell, Greg Aaron, Fraser Lyne rounds out the top 10 as we move into the closing stages. Lap 12 of 16. And Sean Brierley's got a little bit of a breathing space, just a kart length or so, as Dan Healy now has the attentions of Tom King. A little bit of a mistake there, a little bit crossed up, lost some momentum. And once again, Sean Brierley pulls out a kart length or 2 and is now looking comfortable in the lead. Half a second is his advantage. It's not much, it's just a mistake, and they'll be on you again. There's Alexander Reddy, a double win at Clay Pigeon. It's not going to happen today. He runs in 11th place. Harry Neal managing to hold off Tom Powell through Garda once again. And Tom King now beginning to press on Dan Healy. Narrow once again into hairpin 1 from Dan Healy. Almost forces him to go narrow into hairpin 2. It's effective. It's keeping the position. But I think it's letting Sean Brierley get away. What can Graham Coombs do about this group? He's got Tom King and Dan Healy to clear before he gets a shot at the lead. Can he do it in the remaining 3 and a little bit laps? Back on board with Tom Powell, looking at Harry Neal and Luke Hornsby beyond them. And there's a battle going on behind. Greg Aaron, Fraser Lyne, Alexander Reddy. All these little battles. Some of them are more important than others. Championship points at stake for some of these drivers. Well, there's championship points for everyone, but for some of these drivers, a championship is on, and Fraser Lyne suddenly has slowed. I think he's taken a shot at Greg Aaron, lost all his momentum, and has fallen in behind Adrian Richardson, so that's a couple of positions lost. Down into Pullman's. Into Paddock, and here comes Harry Neal down the inside of Luke Hornsby. Drives it in hard and deep, and Tom Powell takes a sneaky look up the inside. Can't get it done into Garda, but he's picked off Luke Hornsby. And we come round to start the penultimate lap. Harry Neal has moved forward about as far as he's going to get, up to 6th place. And still Sean Brierley leads out this final. Keith Segal does the wise thing and gets out the way to be lapped, although Chris Powell's not too happy. Not sure what Keith could have done about that one. So through Sam Sweep into Pullman's. Anyone going to throw it up the inside? It's Graham Coombs. He's strong down into Paddock and he's past Tom King. Had to take avoiding action, ran out wide. I don't think King's too pleased with that one. So on to the final lap then. It's Sean Brierley against Dan Healy. Graham Coombs has got too much to do, I think. So has this been a rehearsal for this corner? Well, if it has, Sean Brierley was wise to it. Dan Healy has been running narrow into hairpin number 1 and into hairpin number 2, but Brierley's got it covered. So Dan's going to have to find another way by. He seems to have been stronger at the top of the circuit than the bottom. I could be wrong, of course. And Graham Coombs now is in the mix, getting on the bumper of Dan Healy just to confuse matters for Dan. And that might be all the attention that Sean Brierley needs to pull clear into what will be a first win of the season for Sean. Running uphill to the finish. He knows he's won it. Sean Brierley wins the pre-final at Buckmore Park ahead of Dan Healy, Graham Coombs, Tom King and Christopher Powell. Well, we do like a big finish. The A final has got a lot to look up to, and pole position was no fluke in the pre-A final for Christopher Powell, because he's done it again for the main A final. Tom King, the double winner from round 1, On the front row with him, Adrian Richardson and championship leader Harry Neal on row 2. Daniel Healy and Tom Powell on row 3. Graham Coombs and Alexander Reddy on row 4. Jack Bolton and Fraser Lyon round out the top 10. And the A final grid is swelled to 26 with the addition of Adam White and Sean Thompson from the B final. Pace Kart gives the thumbs up. We're ready to rock and roll here at Buckmore Park. Who'll get the whole shot? Looking for the green light. Drop the hammer. Charge into turn 1. We're on board with Adrian Richardson, looking to get inside of Harry Neal. Can he get it done into hairpin 1? He can't. Gets back in line. 2, 3, 4 wide. Pietro Pagano sticking his nose in hairpin 1 to try and pick up a spot cheaply. And Adrian Richardson has lost out there to Tom Powell, who's moved into 4th place. The squeeze is on between Briley and Jack Bolton on Harrison Darville. Somehow 3 wide into the S's, manages to get to the exit without catching the tyres. Graham Coombs going down the inside of Dan Healy, fairly hard into paddock. Everyone's trying to pick up a quick position, and Harry Neal wants to be by Christopher Powell. Tom King just wants to concentrate on pulling clear of the main pack, as the main pack want to close back in. Into turn 1. King won a double here in February. He wants another one. Harry Neal, lovely clean move into hairpin 1 on Christopher Powell. Down the inside into the S's. That was optimistic by Chris. And he'll lose ground on Harry Neal, and especially on race leader Tom King, and may come under pressure from Tom Powell. We picked them up at Garda. Chris Powell has stayed in 3rd place. And Tom King has got the best part of a second on Harry Neal. It's important not to let King get away. We know he's rapid round here. Down the inside, Adrian Richardson on Tom Powell. It's taken 3 laps to get that position back. Graham Coombs now looking to strike into hairpin 2. Too far back. His preferred move is into paddock. On board with Daniel Healy. He'd like to get that position back. We saw him lose it on the opening lap. You can see how narrow it is to throw one up the inside into paddock. Garda's more like it. Down the inside, Dan Healy. Run him out wide. Turn in. No, he's had to leave room for Graham. And they've lost a bunch of kart lengths on Tom Powell. Fraser Lyon comes through in 8th place. He's got ahead of Alexander Reddy, who's having a quiet Buckmore Park. Tom King, Harry Neal, Christopher Powell, Adrian Richardson, Tom Powell, Graham Coombs, Dan Healy, Fraser Lyon, Alexander Reddy under pressure, I think, from Ben Atkinson. This is further back. Daniel Becker on the bumper of Keith Segal. You can say think, but Ben's coming through. Alex and Jack Bolton's in the mix as well now, and Harrison Darville will try and get there as well. Side by side up to Cafe Curve. Jack Bolton has to lift. So Alexander Reddy struggling to make progress in the main trophy final. We're on board with Pietro Pagano. You can see that it's Luke Hornsby, not just because of the name that's on the back of the suit, but literally by the suit. His Union Jack suit does make quite an impression. Sweeping down into Symes. Pullmans. Jack Bolton looked to be shaping up to throw one up the inside of Alexander Reddy. And it's not going to plan here for Alex. Harrison Darville inside of Garda. Tom King is pulling clear. And those positions that have been lost by Alex will be important. Remember, he's well up in the championship after drop scores come into play. As is Sean Briley, who seems to be struggling. He was strong and won the pre-final, of course, but only 13th place in the main A final. And Pagano wants to be by. Shows him the outside. Tries to get back on the power early. Sweeping through the S's. Great to drive that flat out, as is Sam Sweet and Pullmans. So Tom Powell looking to pull clear of Fraser Line, who seems to be on the move in this final. Tom King now out of shot, 1.5 seconds clear, moving on to 2 seconds. Hornsby looks to the inside of Pagano, can't get it done. Greg Aaron on his bumper. This is now the fight for 15th and 16th place. So back with Pagano, Sean Briley ahead of us. Healthy lift into Pullman's. Tom King, your race leader. Harry Neal, Christopher Powell, Adrian Richardson, gap to Graham Coombs, Dan Healy, Tom Powell, Fraser Line, putting him under pressure. Then it's a gap to Ben Atkinson, Jack Bolton, coming through in 10th place. Christopher Powell takes a look over his shoulder as we move towards half distance. You'll see Adrian Richardson looking back at him. Down into paddock, across the Garda, over the rise, falls away on the exit into centre. And Pietro Pagano's got ahead of Sean Briley. So Pietro making progress. Remember, he's qualified from the Pre-B final, run the Pre-A as a bonus if you like. His next target is Alexander Reddy in 12th place, Harrison Darville beyond. So Harry Neal takes a look over his shoulder, and do my eyes deceive me, or is Adrian Richardson getting closer to this pair? Thought I heard a little bit of a lift there into Simon Sweet from Adrian. Certainly a lift into Pullman's, and then a break into paddock. Fraser Line closing in on Tom Powell in the red. Ben Atkinson on his bumper. This is the battle for 7th place. Further forward, Christopher Powell looking to the inside of Harry Neal into turn 1, and he's through. So Christopher Powell's not finished with this final. He could have 2nd place here. Harry Neal straight back at him into hairpin 1, and you know what that means. Adrian Richardson into the mix and goes by Christopher. And that puts Adrian on the podium right now. There's still plenty of time left in this one. On the bumper and pushing Harry Neal into Simon Sweep. Lift into Pullman's, break into paddock, drop in, drive out. And Christopher Powell's coming straight back at him in a Garda. Lovely clean move. This is great racing in lightweights. And you can see what that compromise line from Christopher Powell's done. It's released Harry Neal, giving him a few kart lengths, but I don't think he's got the pace to pull clear. The battle's breaking down into groups of 3s and 4s. Tom King already out of hairpin 2, even before the chasing trio, and there he's through the S's even before they arrive. So Tom King is heading for victory, as expecting, I would suppose. He is a Buckmore part specialist, runs in the Buckmore Elite Championship on the same kind of karts, so he's got lots of laps in Club 100 karts around Buckmore Park. Oh, down the inside, somebody diving in there on Luke Hornsby. I think that was Greg Aaron. On to lap 12 of 16. I think Graham Coombs is beginning to close in on the trio, fighting over 2nd place. Sean Briley's holding off Greg Aaron now. Back on board with Pietro Pagano. Alexander Reddy's closing in on Harrison Darville. A little bit of a lock-up from Harrison. Harry Neal, Christopher Powell, Adrian Richardson, and Graham Coombs is closing in. Daniel Healy's fallen away and looks safe in his 6th place to the finish. Sean Briley can't say that. He's got Greg Aaron hard on his bumper in their fight over 14th place. Another lap goes in the books. Tom King, nearly 5 seconds clear in the lead of Harry Neal, under pressure from Christopher Powell and Adrian Richardson. Tom Powell trying to hold off Jack Bolton, and here comes Harrison Darville. 3 wide into turn 1, that's brave. It's worked. It's nearly 4 wide on the exit with Alexander Reddy and now Pietro Pagano. We've got a 5-way fight here going on over 9th place. Harrison Darville has it for now. Jack Bolton, Alexander Reddy, Tom Powell on the Gia block into the S's, trying to hold off Pietro Pagano. Shake of the head there, I think, by Tom. Down into Pullman's, Jack Bolton to strike. Now he's got to square off the corner, and Harrison Darville was ready for him, and he's got his wheels inside into Garda. Should be able to hold that spot. Jack forced to go round the outside, fighting for that apex of centre. That's crucial, so you can have the inside for Cafe Curve and keep the spot. But you'll have to go narrow into turn 1. Darville once again into turn 1. He's strung up to the top of the circuit. Goes through, and Alexander Reddy will try and go through with him. He might be on the wrong side for hairpin 2 though. Yes, he is, and this could be a chance for Pagano to go through. And he does. Tom Powell inside of Alex through the S's side by side, and Sean Briley and Gregor Aaron are closing in behind. Jack Bolton once again, that's a bit optimistic from too far back. That won't work. Pagano around the outside. So Pietro's making real progress through this A final. I don't think he's going to get any further than Harrison Darville, because as they fight, they're falling away from Fraser Line in 8th place. He's 5 seconds up the road. Tom King is 6 seconds clear of Harry Neal, Chris Powell and Adrian Richardson. Graham Coombs is not far behind as well. You're not missing much up front. All the fun and entertainment is right here at the bottom of the top 10. Greg Aaron forcing a pass on Sean Briley. Luke Hornsby behind, but it's Darville, Bolton, Pagano. There's your race leader. He starts his final lap. We've got to show him he's going to win this one. So closing stages of the Trophy A final in lightweight class at Buckmore Park. Harrison Darville is trying to hang on to 9th place ahead of Jack Bolton, Pietro Pagano, and I think Bolton's got him on the exit. Pagano's shoot to go through down the inside as well. You'll have to run him out wide though to keep the spot. Darville will go back up the inside in a hairpin 2. But the momentum will be with Pietro, and he pulls clean. Pietro's up to 10th place. Up front, Harry Neal has got to Garda ahead of Christopher Powell. Adrian Richardson in 4th place, but your race winner, his 3rd win at Buckmore Park of the season for Tom King into Cafe Curve, and Harry Neal, the championship leader, extends his lead in the championship, finishing ahead of Christopher Powell, Adrian Richardson, Graham Coombs and Daniel Healy in 6th place.
The two-hour driver finishing in 3rd place. Performed very well all day today. Deservedly on the podium. Driver number 52, Christopher Powell. And our runner-up today, congratulations, driver number 19, Harry Neal. So a commanding win here, dominating win in the lightweight sprint A final. Congratulations, winning round 6, driver number 33, Tom King. Okay, well done. Another round of applause for our top 3 lightweights. Fantastic. Congratulations, everyone.